Is there okay? Okay, okay. Yeah, we can do the prayer.
Partaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena kraditam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshini bhagavati ashtadashadhyayini ambatvam Bhagavad Gita bhavatveshini.
Yeah, verse 27.
Yeah.
Whatever you do it as an offering to me. Yat karoshi yatasnasi yat juhoshi dadasi yat yat tapashyasi kaundeya tad gurushva mudarpanam. Yat karoshi, whatever you do. Yat asnasi, yat asnasi, whatever you eat. Yat juhosi, whatever ritual you perform. Yat dadasi, whatever you give. Yat tapasyasi, whatever religious discipline you follow. Kauteya, Arjuna, tat kurushva, please do it. Madarpanam, as an offering to me. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever ritual you perform, whatever you forgive, whatever you give. Once again, sorry. Whatever religious discipline you follow, Kaunteya, Arjuna, please do it as an offering to me. Various actions that you do, whether they are secular or scripturally enjoined, either by the Vedas or by Smriti, please do all of them as an offering to me. Kurushva Madarpanam. Why is this said here? Generally, even though people perform these rituals, prayers and so on, they do them for their own yoga and shema. The same ritual can be a Kamya Karma or Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma does not mean you do not expect a result. Nobody can perform an action without expecting results. It means you expect no other result except Antakarna Suddhi. You may do anything, but if it is no longer a Kamya Karma, you do it with an entirely different attitude. Whatever you want is Antakarna Suddhi. What exactly is the purification? Not to be in the hands of other dvaishas. The two words that really cover all other psychological problems. If you analyze any problem you have, you find it comes under raga dveshas. Things did not happen as I wanted. Therefore, I have a problem. Things do not happen as I want. Therefore, I have a problem. I do not see things will not happen as I want. Therefore, I have a problem. So, all problems, normal or abnormal, can be brought under raga dveshas. Connection of prayer and mental purification. Antakarna Suddhi is very important, and to achieve it, prayer is inevitable. Why? Because only a prayerful mind can accept all this. Only on seeing your helplessness can you forgive yourself. Only understanding yourself very clearly as a limited person can you totally accept that you could not only do, you could only do as much as you did. You could not have done anything better. Perhaps in the order of things, this is how it should have been. With this kind of recognition, prayerful attitude, there is serenity. When the mind is settled like this, it can inquire properly. Here Bhagavan is talking about a person who is interested in moksha. You do karma for Antakarna Suddhi. You may do the same action as a Kamakami, but you do not want anything from it. You want only moksha, which is non-separate from you. As a karma yogi, you renounce the results of your actions. Karma phala tyaga. Though you play roles and perform karmas and so on, you do not work for dharma, artha and kama. but work only for Antakarana Suddhi. Or you can be a sannyasi who gives up karmas, duties, so that you have no role to play. Both the Karma Yogi and the sannyasi have recognition of Ishvara, and that is called bhakti. So I thought Raga Dvesha means it is against a person.
No. It is not like that. It is overall. It encompasses everything. Like whatever you do in a motivated karma in life, for very constructively also, even like ritual you for Sudarshana Homa you do for a good life and all that. See, even that comes under Raga Dvesha. In the sense, Raga means you have got an intense desire for fulfillment. There is a Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsara, the gradation is there. But initially it all starts with Raga and Dvesha. Raga means a simple wish, like Kamya Karma, that you have got an objective in mind that I must do well in the exam, I must get a promotion, I must get my Griha Pravesham should go well, this house should be okay. All that, very legitimate also. Even that is called Kamya Karma because, why it is called Kamya Karma? It has got a Kama at the end of it. That is, an intense desire is there. Where Kama becomes an intense desire, it's called Raga. It is there. But what happens is, when you do like that, the result is totally not in your hands. But doing the karma with a prayerful attitude has got a right away a drishtapalam. The sense, that is called like Madarpanam. The sense, when you do the prayer with total surrender, with the total knowledge that whatever I do, whatever I am doing prayer and all that, but it has got its own niyati. Everything is going to happen in the niyati of Ishvara only. I have got a surrender towards him. Okay, I am praying for a good life and all that, but still whatever that comes, I will accept. So, keep Ishvara in view, like you be aligned with Ishvara. You know very well. The sense, this is all told with the idea that a person who is already has got a very balanced approach towards life, Karma Yoga, in the sense Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi. Whatever it is happening, everything is in the domain of Ishvara, and whatever comes as in my life, it is a Prasada from Ishvara. So you keep Ishvara in view, the totality, in even whatever you do, like you don't, you have got still Abhilasha, you have got still goals in life and all that. You got either rituals, family rituals you do, or you do a good job, go and do in the office and whatever it is. Everything you bring in the Ishvara's domain. So yeah, appreciate it, everything is happening in Ishvara's domain. So Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, and that is why there is one more verse that will come later. Yata pravritti bhutanam yana sarvamitam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manava. Even normal karma, Laukika karma, Vedic karma, everything you will offer it as a prayer. So karmana tam abhyarchya. Whatever you do also, Laukikam, Vedikam, everything, even when you drive a car, you do it, you have to go to a particular place, that is your karma at that particular point in time. And you have to drive properly, what you call, obeying the signals, taking care of the people on the road and all that. So that is called Swakarma. At that time, a driver, the Swakarma is at that time. When you bring in Ishvara, the Swakarmana becomes Tam Abhyarchya. That itself becomes a puja. A driving with the Ishvara in view becomes a puja. Not necessarily only when you do at home in front of the altar. So, Swakarmana Tam Abhyarchya, when that sort of a person who does everything as Ishvara Arpanam, Swakarmana Tam Abhyarchya, Siddhim Vindati Manava. There the Siddhi is, he becomes ready, he is a Karma Yogi, he becomes ready for further inquiry into like wholesome understanding of life. That Sarvam Ishwaram, once you understand, finally you will say what it is all about, then what am I? Then you are also Ishvara, that will come, that understanding will come, that inquiry will come, the Shastra Upadesha will come, that is later. But as a preparation, you are living your life as Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and everything is in the domain of Ishvara, means whatever comes to you also, Palam also is a prasada. Like even in a temple. So, Swakarmana Tam Abhyarchya, that is what he is talking about. Even if you are doing a Kamya Karma, you do it as Madarpanam. That's what Bhavan says in this particular. Even if you are eating, even if you are you are performing a ritual, or even if you are eating is a ritual, or you are doing some tapas, some religious ritual, or you are giving some dhanam, annadanam, whatever you do, everything you do it as Madarpanam. Don't, I am doing annadanam, so people should praise me. Call lot of people, put a board, annadanam by so and so this day, so that everyone appreciate, everyone in the society, colony should know that I am doing annadanam, I am doing charity. That is again a Rajasika, nothing wrong in that. But the motive is what? Everyone should appreciate. In that, some people may appreciate, some people say, what, this fellow is trying to propagate his wealth and all that. See, they may not appreciate, then it will be bad. Because you are mortgaging your santushti to the approval of others. That may not happen all the time. 10 fellows will appreciate, 2 fellows may not appreciate. So, whereas when you do it with Madarpanam, Ishvara Arpanam, then as you do it, it becomes a Nishkama Karma. In the sense, as you do it, it is fulfilled. You are doing it as in the Ishvara Sannidhanam, Vasudeva Kudumbakam, when you are doing, as you do it, get the Drishtapalam, Punyam in the sense, you feel nice about it. Immediate Palam, Drishtapalam. And plus Punyam also because you don't have any agenda. So, intelligent living is the same work, same dhanam, same office work, same driving, same way of living, but with a different attitude. Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi, the same action becomes yoga. And also it requires you, once you live like that, mind is in a good shape, and you will be able to appreciate when Bhagavan comes and tells that you are Ishvara, you will be able to accept, yeah, I know, I have been living my life like that, everything is in the domain of Ishvara, so I also have to be Ishvara. Minus me, Ishvara is not complete. That sort of an understanding, when it is told, it will go into your register because you are relatively tranquil. You have got a relatively prasada buddhi. So, Sitta Prasannata is already there. So, that yes, you are Purnam. When somebody tells, you will be able to accept. Otherwise, when you are in a restless mind, if somebody tells you are Purnam, he will say, what, he is trying to fool me. He will not accept that. He will not be in a position. That is what precisely what the whole Siddhim Vindati Manava, meaning the whole life is directed towards a sort of a holistic approach wherein your life becomes one with Ishvara even in the normal way of living. Then oneness with Ishvara becomes an acceptable fact when it is told by the Shastra. That is what we are driving ourselves into. That is the whole thing is this verse, what he is saying is that do it as Madarpanam. And also Swamiji himself says do it as a offering unto Lord. The result of that karma is taken as prasada. That he explains later. That is how you have to look at it. So the whole thing is Raga Dvesha inevitable because initially everyone is having Raga. Till the time we get to this understanding, beyond this inquiry, we live our lives in Raga Dvesha only, can't help it. But by changing the attitude, by change of attitude, by greater appreciation of the everything has to be in the domain of Ishvara, nothing is in our hands, which culturally also we have, and even by logical reasoning also we will know that we don't call all the shots. Something or other, somebody is there is supernatural power is there which is there, dominating the whole thing. So that sort of an appreciation will help us in moving towards I would say intelligent living in the sense once you what they generally say is I forgot the particular phrase is there. In the sense, I will tell you when I remember. So when you are doing it in the cognizance of the overall appreciation of Ishvara in all your life, whatever you do, then it becomes intelligent living. Then you are not in for surprise. You are ready to accept anything as a prasada. That is precisely what he is trying to tell here. So we cannot initially go and tell people don't have goals, you do Nishkama Karma and all we cannot say. But whatever you do it, you are in the domain of Ishvara, do it. That way you will be ready to accept whatever comes as prasada, and when you do it also you will be fully in the present. You will not be all the time looking at if I don't get what will happen, if I get less what will happen, those things will not, because everything you are putting it in the Ishvara's basket. And you are doing. So you are in a position already, as you do it, you are mentally you are ready to accept it. That it's all happening in the wholesome understanding of life. Everything is together. We are not, that alienation from Ishvara, that's what I wanted to tell. That alienation from, you will not feel alienated from Ishvara. When you do it that way, see, basic problem is, it is not the second thing that is, there is one famous, which I have told also before, Dvaitha thi bhayam bhavati, which I have told also that, Udaram antaram kurute adadasya bhayam bhavati. The sense, even a slightest difference between me and the world is there, I will be fearful, because the world is always vast, very vast. Compared to me, however big I am, the world is always going to be vast. Suppose I feel that I am different from the world, you will always be fearful. So, the second thing is inevitable. But if you say that all things are happening in one domain of Ishvara, then there is no second thing. In that big picture, everything is in one. Okay, even though I am interacting with somebody, I am doing something, I am going from here to there, but here to there, both here and there are in Ishvara. Like even in space, both here and there are in space only. There is no distance between space and here and space and there, because everything is in space. And every space is in Ishvara. So the whole thing is in Ishvara. So what is the question of taking from this packet and putting in the other packet? In what way is the big difference? Okay, somebody else gets more, somebody else gets less. Everything is happening in the domain of Ishvara. That will make you relaxed. At the same time, okay, you can have your own abhilasha, like, okay, I want to go there, I want to do this. Fine, do it. But with this holistic understanding. That's what he is telling. He is telling, do it. Madarpanam. Do it in my, whatever you do, even if you are eating. That is why we do prayer before eating. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, we say and then eat. Everything is in the domain of Ishvara. Pariseshanam we do. And we do pranaya swaha, apānaya swaha, vyanaya swaha. Because we say everything is for the Bhagavan inside. So automatically the digestion he will take care. I don't have to worry. So all those things. No, the whole thing. You bring Ishvara in every walk of life. That is intelligent living. That's what he is trying to say here. Yeah.
When I said, before we eat, we are doing pariseshana.
Yes.
The pariseshana that we do, we are doing for the purpose that we are told. Okay. Now, but during eating, we are not thinking of that.
Yeah, that is okay. Like in the sense,
phalam comes later, which is not in our hands.
Yeah, that is true.
Get digested or get into diarrhea, whatever it is.
Yeah, this is all. It is if actually some pain comes because okay, some small papa I had done, that is gone. That is way of looking at it rather than instead of some big vyadi coming, I am getting only some small stomach trouble. With that trouble, some small papa, maybe I have beaten 2 or 3 mosquitoes in the night. It got that papa is cancelled by this small trouble in the stomach. That is how you have to look at it, honestly speaking. So, but what I am telling is, when we say, when you do, all the time you don't have to be thinking of Bhagavan and doing, because that way you will not be doing your job properly. It's not, there is a question of having that at the background of your life, you have to have that, like Shruti, I have always been telling you, like a Shruti it should become very, initially it is a sadhana, later it becomes spontaneous. That keeping Ishvara in view in everything you do is spontaneous in your life, it becomes part of your life. Ishvara becomes part of your life. Like, fortunately, we have it in our culture. That is why Bhumi Puja, Ayudha Puja, even when you buy a new mobile, you put it in front of God and then take and use it. So all these things means what? Everything is given to me. It's all, nothing is mine. I am only temporarily possessing it. Everything is Ishvara's domain. All these things is there in the culture. But we have to reinforce it by form, by prayer, by attitude, by like this sort of a satsang. We have to reinforce it. So that it becomes part of our life. Then it becomes, it reduces fear. Once it reduces fear, you are in the presence. You don't all the time worry about past and future. When you are in the presence, you are aligned with it. Because what we have told, Desa Kala Vastu Aparichinam. So when you are in the presence, both time and space, you have taken out of the equation. So you are more with your being. So once you are more with your being, in the sense, that itself automatically gives you santushti. Okay, I am the being, I am playing the role of doing this. I am a driver, I am an office goer, I am a husband, I am a father. All these are roles. Even I am Krishna Kumar is only a role. I am just playing the role of Krishna Kumar in society. But whereas I am the Desa Kala Vastu Aparichina being, or being. Nothing can be taken away, nothing can be given because I am Purnam. This sort of a understanding will percolate in our way of living. That gives us the completeness which we are seeking outside. Whereas we are basically complete, we are only playing the roles. So the difference is there very much in all this. In the sense, makes your life more complete. That is why it is a very therapeutic. Ishvara is the biggest super therapist in our life. Taking care of all our issues by doing this. And because it is close, it is very much aligned with reality of our life. It is not just a therapy for the sake of therapy. It is a reality therapy. That is why it is important. That is why Vedanta has no problem, psychology has no solution. Famous statement. Yeah.
Actually, Swamiji, right from my days, my mother always used to say early in the morning, even if it is only gas stove, when you light it, you worship Agni. Once on the Agni, and then when you keep that vessel of milk, think of Krishna. So like you said, probably if you, and of course I've imbibed it, and also I've seen Ashwin's party those days. We used to carry some snacks, when we go to meet, we carry some sweet, made at home only those days. So we used to carry it. And what she will do, she used to, before putting it in her mouth, she has அங்க ஆத்துல நிறைய சுவாமி படம் இருக்கும் ஹால்லயே. அப்பெல்லாம் ஹால்லயே சுவாமி படம் வச்சிருப்பா இல்லையா? So she will அப்படி பார்த்துட்டு she will put it in her mouth. Must do that always. So
very good. Yeah, and that is why this Pancha, there is Surya worship, Chandra worship, and all that, because everywhere, all the time is available. Surya and Chandra, we don't have to go to temple. Just to offer to Surya, go out and just see, say Om, then come in and do the work. So all those things were very normal in those days, because we were looking at the whole thing. That is the real ecology. Swamiji used to say, ecology is appreciation of Ishvara in everything in our life. That is ecology. Today we are talking about ecology, environment and all that. But this is the true ecology in life. Appreciating that everything is given. And I am only the recipient. And I am only the being and Ishvara is the giver. Everything else is there in the domain. It's all there in Ishvara's domain. Anything and I see and interact is in Ishvara's domain. I is the being and Ishvara is the other side. Ishvara is on the other side as a being. I am on this side as a being. In between everything is given. So, there are no stakes. I as a being is Purnam aligned with Ishvara. Ishvara is always there and everywhere. So, everything that is happening is in the Ishvara's domain. That prajna, if it is there in our life, then you will never feel alienated. And so you will never feel fearful or greed will not be there. So you will do undanada cheyum. You will do whatever is required to be done at that point in time. To that extent I understand, I do. And keep going. That's all very, very holistic approach towards life. Yeah.
Tat Kurushva Mudarpanam. Whatever you do, please offer it to me. It means may you not expect a result of yoga or chema. Just do it and let it go to the Lord. It's an expression of your devotion to Ishvara. All you want is Antakarna Suddhi. The very offering brings about inner purification. Therefore, whatever you do, please offer it to me for the sake of Antakarna Suddhi, leading to moksha. Bhagavan is not going to be elated by your offering. Rather, you are enriched in the process. Yet Karoshi, whatever you do, Bhagavan addresses Arjuna directly here. Whatever you do is made into an offering, and the result of that karma is taken as prasada. Yadesnasi, whatever you eat, it is why while eating we offer the food saying pranaya swaha, dhyanaya swaha, uddanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, and then finally saying Brahmane Swaha. It means unto the Lord who is in the form of prana, the respiratory function, apana, the system that throws things out of the body, samana, the digestive system, vyana, the whole circulatory system, udana, the prana that ejects the life out of the body at the time of death. I offer this food. Brahmane Swaha, to the one who indwells every physical body, identified with the total subtle body, Hiranyagarbha. I offer this food. Yet Juhoshi, whatever fire ritual you perform, whether it is Shrauta Karma or Sparta Karma, or any ritual you perform daily or on special occasions, please offer it to me. Let it not be for Dharma, Artha, Kama. What is important is your attitude. Bhagavan is not going to be flattered by whatever you do or do not offer. Yet, through association, you make your offering more and more real, which creates in you a bhavana, attitude. Vishnu is the one who loves ornamentation. He is Alankara Priya. Lord Shiva loves a bath. He is Abhisheka Priya. Lord Surya loves salutations. He is Namaskara Priya. So you do all this for your own sake to make your devotion more real. It is only your attitude that counts. Two pieces of wood in the form of a cross mean nothing. Every telephone pole looks like it, but it stands for something. So there is bhavana, an attitude. It will work. Nobody will be denied the result of his or her prayer, whether one is a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Parsi, a Hindu, or anybody. These things must be very clear. Any religion is based on bhavana, and it is what makes a person a devotee. Yet dadasi, whatever you give as an offering, as charity, gold, food, ghee, cloths, and so on, these are things that we generally give to brahmanas, priests, dedicated to a religious life. In former times, they were working for the society, and the society took care of them. So dana was generally for brahmanas. Now you can give anything as dana. Anything you give, dedicate them unto Ishvara as a worship. Yet tapasyasi. Any particular religious discipline you are undertaking. There are varieties of tapas like fasting and japa. In all this, Bhagavan says, whatever you do it as an offering unto me. We need to understand these expressions properly. Otherwise, what does perform all the actions dedicated to the Lord? Which Lord, where, how? This is the problem. Here, you need to understand that gaining the knowledge of Ishvara and understanding you are not separate from that Ishvara is moksha, freedom. To understand this, you need Antakarana Siddhi, and you have to work for it. When dharma is Ishvara, even duties are for Ishvara. What is to be done becomes important because it is looked upon as Ishvara, and thereby raga-dveshas are relegated to the background. Then the special rituals that you perform are meant for no other result than Antakarana Suddhi, leading to moksha. Wanting moksha means wanting Ishvara, because moksha is non-separate from Ishvara. Knowing I am Ishvara, whose nature is fullness and who is the cause of creation, is indeed moksha. When you are seeking moksha, do not think you are seeking anything other than Ishvara. The various rituals, prayers, and so on that you perform are all for the sake of Antakarana Suddhi, which is necessary for moksha, and they are all for Ishvara. The Swarupa of moksha is nothing but Ishvara. So when you perform these prayers, rituals, etc., they are all meant only for Ishvara. Similarly, the other duties which you are called upon to do in day-to-day life are also for Ishvara if they conform to Dharma. Your likes and dislikes, tendencies and so on may be opposed to what you have to do, but they are overruled when you conform to Dharma, because that itself is Ishvara. For the person who is living his life in this manner, like Arjuna, what will happen?
Actually, Swamiji, even what we are now doing is only Ishvara Arpana.
Yes.
No, read Gita. But you never read the
very fact that we are doing it is because we have, that's what I have always been telling. I always tell people who come here also, like that Vivekachudamani, the famous verse, that Deva Anugraha Hetukam. Etatrayam Deva Anugraha Hetukam. What Etatrayam means which three? Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samsrayaha. So, when you are already studying Gita, you are already having Mahapurusha Samsraya. You are already having satsang with Ishvara. And the Mahapurusha is Bhagavan Swamiji. With him you are having satsang. Means what? You already have Manushyatvam. You already have Mumukshutvam. You have got you want to have a wholesome understanding of life. What is me? What is Ishvara? You want to have it. So already you have it. That is why you have reached the third level of Mahapurusha Samsraya. So, after this also we should not be looking for grace elsewhere. We have grace, that's why we are studying. So, all the time, you should not be looking for punya, punya, punya all the time. You already have it, that is why you are studying. That is what I tell people when they come here to Swamiji and all that. Having sitting in the Sannidhanam, you should not be looking for a guru. You are already with the guru, then why do you want to look for something? Don't keep on searching. Search is meant for what? To end somewhere. It's not for eternally searching. So all these things people have to grow into it. There should be, even while studying, you must be able to do this sort of a reflection. What are we studying? Where am I? Where do I stand in my life? Where am I? What am my understanding? What I am achieving by this understanding? In the whole scheme of things, where I am. Person who is sitting here, sitting in a small place and looking at the whole thing as Ishvara and aligning itself with Ishvara means it's a big thing. Only very few people in the whole prapancha have this sort of an opportunity. So we have to not only count our problems, we should count our blessings also. That is very important. Yeah.
Verses 28 and 29. A person with renunciation and karma yoga is liberated from the bondage of karma. Shubha Shubha Palai Revam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupaishasi. Evam, in this way, Mokshase, you will be released Karma Bandhanaihi, from the bondage of karma. Shubha Ashubha Palaihi, in the form of desirable and undesirable results. Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma, being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga.
Renunciation and karma yoga.
Vimuktaha, liberated. Mam Upaisyasi, you will come to me. In this way you will be released from the bondage of karma, which is in the form of desirable and undesirable results. Being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga, you will come to me liberated. Moksha say, you will be released from what? From Subha Ashubhaihi Karma Bandhanaihi, the karmas that give you desirable and undesirable results. These binding karmas have desirable and undesirable results. In other words, Sukha Dukkha. Karma produces two types of results, Shubha Phala, desirable, and Ashubha Phala, undesirable. And the karmas themselves are bondage because they produce results for the karta, the agent. He is the one who has to experience the karma phala that comes in the form of Sukha and Dukkha. In order to experience them, he must have body, mind, senses, and so on. Therefore, he requires janma, birth. Because of karma, there is janma, and because of janma, there is karma. From all this, Bhagavan says, you will be released. How? Evam, in this manner, by doing what was described in the previous two verses. Performing actions as a dedication to Ishvara, as it was explained, one becomes Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma, whose mind is endowed with yoga and sannyasa. This is moksha. But the person we are discussing is doing karma. And all that he does is, he dedicates unto the Lord. As the Lord himself said in the last verse, Yat karosi yat yatasnasi yat tapasyasi. So what is the sannyasa here? Shankara makes it clear. It is sannyasa and at the same time yoga. It is sannyasa because he renounces the results of his actions, that is phalatyaga. Everything is done as an offering to Ishvara, tat kurushva madarpanam, and he is interested only in Ishvara, nothing else. Ishvara is not separate from moksha, so if he is interested in moksha, he is purely interested in Ishvara. Since he has karma phalatyaga, it is sannyasa, considering the root meaning of the word rather than the popular meaning, which is a lifestyle of renunciation. It is not the renunciation of karma, but an attitudinal renunciation. The context here is the performing of all these rituals, prayers, duties, and so on. What is the root meaning of the word rather than sannyasa? He says,
Nyasa means, nyasa means what you call renunciation. Nyasa means renunciation. Samyak, san meaning samyak, complete.
Oh.
Complete renunciation. See, the renunciation can be in terms of attitude, or it can be in terms of what you call, even in lifestyle. When you do, that is why sannyasa is a lifestyle. It has got both the things. It has got the attitudinal renunciation plus also lifestyle renunciation. Karma yoga means attitudinal renunciation is there, but as a lifestyle you are still continuing in the whatever you are doing. So that is the difference, slight difference between sannyasa and karma yoga. That is what he is talking about. Whereas in the uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita is, it says it is both for karma yoga as well as sannyasa. Both the lifestyles are accommodated in the way in which the whole tatparyam is explained. Life's tatparyam is the same for all human beings. It is meant for all human beings. But whether you are in a lifestyle of sannyasa, whether you are in a lifestyle of brahmachari, or a grahastha-ashrama, or a vanaprastha-ashrama, it is meant for all. But sannyasa is a lifestyle. So both for sannyasa is a lifestyle, and karma yoga, that is for all other three other ashramas. Brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, all of them can be a karma yogi. But still the attitude is the same. Ishvara arpana buddhi, prasada buddhi. And alignment with Ishvara. And alignment with this understanding, the holistic understanding of life. As desa kala vastu aparichinnam is my reality. Everything else is only a role play. I do my duties. Sakarmana tammabhyarchya. So that clarity and understanding. That is sarva karma sannyasa which is told. Because there by attitude you are ensuring that you don't get attached. Like Amitabh Bachchan plays the role of a beggar. Beggar is not Amitabh Bachchan. Beggar is Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan is not beggar. So I am playing the role of Krishna Kumar. Krishna Kumar is me, but I am not Krishna Kumar. So that clarity and understanding helps us to do our roles properly. That space helps us to act appropriately in any given situation. Otherwise, if you get totally aligned with the role, you will start begging in the street. Amitabh Bachchan will start begging in the street if he gets totally aligned with the role. He must know that I have to play the role only for this particular scene. Once I come back richer. I am not a beggar anymore. I become richer by being a beggar. That clarity should be there in our life. Then life becomes very yathartham. And also we do whatever it is to the extent possible, to the extent I understand, to the extent I know, just do whatever is appropriate and keep going. That is what he is trying to tell. Yeah.
Therefore, we are talking about karma yoga. Yet it is called sannyasa yoga because there is karma phala tyaga. He gives up his likes and dislikes and does karma only for the sake of Ishvara, not for anything else. The person is committed to Ishvara. So naturally there is sannyasa. Why is it yoga? Shankara says because the word karma is associated with it. And it is karma yoga because the word sannyasa is there. Otherwise it would be only karma for the sake of artha and kama now. And later it becomes karma that binds karma bandhana by producing punya and papa. These karmas, however, do not bind since they create Antakarana Shuddhi, and through Antakarana Shuddhi, you gain moksha. There is an order here. The same thing was said in the 5th chapter of the Gita. Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijidatma Jidendriya Sarva Bhudatma Bhudatma Kurvannapi na Lipyate.
Very famous statement. Even the Ishavasya Upanishad talks about this. And Shankara's this very famous Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma is a very famous word used by Shankara in all his Bhashyam also. Sense, yeah, read that. Read the meaning, yeah.
One whose mind is purified by being committed to a life of Karma Yoga, who has mastered the body and has the sense organs under control, and who knows oneself to be the self in all beings, such a person is not affected even while doing actions.
Yeah, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma is the self in all beings. I am one who knows oneself to be the self in all beings is called Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. Yeah.
This sequence is a style of the Gita and must be understood. Otherwise, it will read as though Karma Yoga is a means for liberation. This will destroy the whole Shastra and create countless problems. Therefore, here you must remember that particular word Yoga Yukta, one who is endowed with Karma Yoga. What does he become? Vishuddhatma. His Antakarana is pure, meaning he is no longer in the hands of Raga Dveshas. Therefore, he is Vijitatma. His mind is in his hands and so are his sense organs. He is Jitendriya. Such a person becomes Sarva Bhuta Atma Bhuta Atma. In time, he gains this knowledge and his self is no longer enclosed but is released from the limitations superimposed upon the self. He is the self of all. Even if he performs an action, he is not bound by karma, na lipyate. This is what is said here.
Yeah, that is what. When it is told, you must always remember this. The self that is being talked about is Desa Kala Vastu Aparichinna Atma, the being. That is our reality. That is the self that is being talked about. So everything else is a role, including our own body, mind, senses. Then only you will be able to offer, even your body, mind, senses, you offer unto Ishvara. Whatever you do, whether it is Laukikam, Vaidikam, personal, professional, household, outside, society, everything, you do it only with your body, mind and senses. They all know only your body, mind and senses. Society also makes use of only your body, mind and senses. And you offer it to them to the extent possible. And you remain the being or the self of all beings, Sarva Bhutanta, Bhutantaratma, Atma. If you are there, it has no plus and minus, nothing is lost, nothing is gained. Because there is not even a thing, it is Vastavam, it is reality. So it doesn't really, there are no stakes. The whole thing is, it's all only in the body, mind, senses of all our roles work. And to that extent we are born set up, to that extent we can contribute, we can keep contributing. So that understanding will come, that knowledge will come, now you are studying, you are understanding. Why? Because you are having a certain control, a composure for you to do all your life activities in such a fashion where your mind is ready to listen to this sort of an understanding. So you are already having it. This is being talked about for say yoga and all that. But as far as you are concerned, you already have it. That is why you are here. So you must be able to look at it that way and own it up, own up the process. And this will only reinforce that. That is how we have to look at it. Because all the time, we are not in the first standard. We are already graduated. We have to look back and use it only for helping others or not losing what you have gained. What you have learnt in the first standard, you have to still use it in life, right? But that doesn't mean we have to be there all the time. We have to grow, we are already growing. We are already growing out of the whole thing. That is how we have to look at it. Yeah.
So by doing this, you will get released from karma. Karma generally binds you, but by doing the same karma with a change of attitude, it becomes the means for liberation. The binding karma becomes non-binding. The one who does everything for the sake of Ishvara is a bhakta and also a jigyasu, a karma yogi, mumukshu, all these at once. Because he is sannyasa yoga yukta atma, he has the required qualifications for getting the knowledge. So for him, gaining knowledge is easy. Therefore, vimuktaha mam upaisyasi. Liberated, you will come to me in time. Because he has said moksha say, you will get liberated, there is a time involved here. Knowledge does not take time, but removing the obstructions does. Being a karma yogi, you gain anta karana shuddhi, and with that mind you are able to understand the shastra and are therefore vimukta.
Yeah, so that's what I am trying to tell. See, it is not that that I am the awarefull being, I am the Atma, I am the self, I am Desakala Vastu Aparichinna Atma. That understanding is there. But it is called Sapratibandhaka Jnanam. In the sense, even though the understanding is there, it is encircled by whatever we have acquired, whatever our lifestyle has been, our abhilasha has been, our raga dvesha has been. It's all there, part of our life. By slowly and steadily removing that with this karma yoga attitude, we will slowly and steadily reduce that level of dependency of raga dvesha in our life. Then the understanding what you have already gained becomes the pratibandha goes. So the jnanam happens by way of pramana vichara, the shruti, the Brahma Vidya, and the Yoga Shastra removes the pratibandhas. So you are able to claim the reality which you understood by the pramana vishaya. That's what he is trying to say. So that in time he is talking about, in time meaning you will remove the obstructions. Antakarana Shuddhi, Chitta Naishalyam will be there. You will not get flustered by small things or big things. All those things. That is why it takes time. That is why the time factor is talked about here. Yeah.
Living, you are liberated because the mind does not pose any problem insofar as the knowledge of yourself is concerned, which you have gained from the Shastra. It is not inhibited by any problem that would be there for want of karma yoga. And uninhibited self-knowledge is moksha. The teaching is there, pramana is there, vastu is there, and knowledge should take place. It has to take place in your mind. If that mind has a problem, you have to take care of it, and it is done by karma yoga. Living, you are liberated. Then what happens at the time of death? When the body falls at the time of death, you are one with me. What exists is only Ishvara, because the notion of jivatva, individuality, is eliminated. The jiva has resolved into Ishvara, and so you are one with Ishvara, which means that you are Ishvara. Even while alive, there is only Ishvara. But because of prarabdha karma, the body-mind sense complex continues. Therefore, its seeming limitations continue. When the body falls away and the seeming limitations also disappear, there is only Ishvara.
See, that is why, Swami always to say, Shankara, and even the Shastra, many places, it always says, Iva, seeming. It doesn't say you are limited. You are limited as though. Because in the prajna of Shastra, in the prajna of the Acharyas, you are already Brahman. Vivekananda told, it seems, if only I have the wherewithal, I would like to go to every human being in the whole creation and tell them you are Brahman. So that is the reality, that is the fact. But for you to honor it, because of all these pratibandhakas, it doesn't happen. That is why he says the seeming limitations continue. The seeming limitation, it is not the real limitation, it is seeming limitation. That's why he always uses the word seeming. The Sanskrit word is iva. Yeah.
Lord Krishna says, Mam upasyasi.
Here.
You will,
Says here.
Lord Krishna says here, Mam upasyasi, you will come to me. It is addressed to the jiva who is now listening, not to the Satchit Ananda Atma. Here, you falls short of Satchit Ananda Atma. It goes only up to the jiva, the jignasu, and not beyond that. You shall come to me means that there will be no individual you. You are there as Satchit Ananda Brahma alone. This is another expression that can be misunderstood. You have been me, but you come back to me again. As though you are a stranger, you come back to me. It is a figurative expression. There is no coming to Bhagavan or going away from Bhagavan. You are always not separate from Bhagavan. It is just a matter of recognition. In the previous verse, he says, Yat karosi edasnasi yat juhoshi. Whatever you do, Arjuna, offer it all to me. The one who performs actions for the sake of Ishvara will get Ishvara, whereas the others will not. Then we have a problem. Bhagavan becomes the one who has raga dveshas like any ordinary person. If I praise him, calling him Indra, Chandra and so on, I get something out of him. Then if I criticize him, he does not give me anything at all. Today he shows raga and tomorrow he shows dvesha. Flatter him and he gives me everything. If he is angry, he leaves me out completely. This is what I see in the world. I thought Bhagavan was different, who is equal to all people and gives equally to everybody. But it looks as though he too behaves like an ordinary person. I go on doing everything for Bhagavan, then he is pleased and says, come back, what is this? If I care for him, he cares for me. If I do not, he does not care for me. What kind of Bhagavan is he? He should care for me even if I do not care for him. I do not see him doing anything for me, nor is he immediately available for me. How can I care for him? I have 100 different cares in my life. He is said to be all wisdom, all love, all compassion. In his vision, in his compassion, I have done nothing to deserve being neglected by him. Suppose a child happens to kill a cockroach, I do not consider it a sin. It was afraid and it therefore did something. Even if a person commits a small felony, I accommodate him. Our local laws seem to be very kind to the children because they do things in innocence. So what about the Almighty Lord, who is all wisdom, who is absolute love and compassion? In his vision, what kind of misdemeanor can I commit that will not get his pardon? In fact, I must destroy the universe for him to get angry. If I put Mars out of place, turn Jupiter inside out, just spirit the entire earth away, if I make a mess of his whole home, then he should get angry with me. But these small little things that a human being may do, he should pardon. I am not like Ravana who made Lord Varuna come and water his garden and wanted Vayu to come and sweep his floor and so on. He abused all the devatas and should be punished all right, but not me doing my small little thing. What kind of a Lord is he? If only when I go on flattering him, he is very kind to me. And if I neglect to say you are Ananta, you are Krishna, you are Rama, you are this, you are that, etc., he thinks that I am no good and therefore does not care for me. In my innocence and childishness, I may not care for him, but in his wisdom and in his compassion, he should care for me. What kind of God is he if he also has raga dveshas? It is very clear that such a God is insecure. He has his own fans called devotees, so he cares for them. And the others who mind their business and are now grown up, he dislikes. He should be proud of them. But he wants them always to look up to him, which means he does not want them to grow. He is not even like enlightened parents. Now we have simply reduced Ishvara to our level. It is the argument of a Purva Pakshi and an opponent. Remember, the answer to this is given in the next verse. Verse 29. Prashant, will you continue?
Can you hear me what I am talking?
Yeah.
I have some speaker mic issues, that's why. Verse 29, there is no whole part relationship with Ishvara. Amoham sarva bhuteshu nedveshyosti napriyaha bhajanti tumam bhaktya viteteshu chapyaham. Sarva bhuteshu, in all beings, aham samaha, I am the same. Me deshya asti, there is no one whom I dislike. Me priyaha, nor is anyone my favorite. Ye bhajanti tumam, but those who seek me, bhaktya, with devotion, ayite, they exist in me, teshu cha ati aham, and I exist in them. I am the same in all beings, There is no one I dislike, nor do I have a favorite. But those who seek me with devotion exist in me, and I exist in them. Tamaha aham sarva bhuteshu. I am the same in all beings. I am not someone separate from them. In all the beings, I am the same limitless Ishvara, because the Atma of everyone is myself alone. In all beings, I am available for any. They need not even come to me, they are me. What would be my attitude towards them? Ame desha asti. How can I have a desha? Once is disliked, then everyone is me. I do not hate myself. I cannot hate myself because I know aham purnaha. I am complete. To hate oneself, one must be ignorant of oneself. I have no such ignorance. I know that I am everything, and when it is so, everything is myself. There is no separate person at all. Everyone is the same whole person, which is why he is called Purusha. When this is so, there is no person to be hated.
See, the Purusha, there are two meanings. Purusha, one meaning is Purav Ushati. Purav meaning the city, nine-gated city called body, Ushati, one who lives. That is Purusha. The other meaning is Purnatvat Purusha. As complete being, I am in this. That is why it is called Purusha. So the Purusha has got two meanings. That meaning itself says that we are all complete. Once you are a Purusha, you are complete in yourself. You are one with Ishvara. Yeah.
When this is so, there is no person to be hated. You may not dislike someone, but suppose you have a liking for somebody else. That is good enough. Means you are indifferent to others, and it also establishes a Taratamya gradation. It's not enough to say, Name Desha Asti, there is no one for whom I have dislike. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Name Priya Asti, I have no favorite, no beloved. Human beings are subject to all that, but not Ishvara. And why does he say, those who worship him will come to him? He is giving favors. You can say he gives certain people favors and not others. Problem here is, Bhagavan says, I am all of them. They have to know me. I cannot be more than what I am for them. How can I do more than what I have done already? They themselves are me. They are not separate from me. I am giving favors to anybody, but those who do not know me get me. I am not giving favors to anybody, but those who know me get me. It is all according to the law. In grace is karma pala. They have the free will to earn that grace or not.
Prashant, or using some other equipment as which you have not been using in the past? Because, boom, boom, keke.
I have kept all the equipment away from me.
But what about Swamiji? Are you getting?
I am able to hear. Only that maybe recording may be a little bit. But otherwise, I am able to hear. I have to strain the ears here. That's all. But it's not clear. It's not that clear because of that boom.
Yeah. Generally, you are using something else. No, use that.
It is not working today. That's why that one is not working today. It's a webcam with a microphone. The microphone is not working. That's why I'm using this.
Okay.
Yeah, continue.
Or if someone reads one paragraph, I will just...
Okay. Then finally speaking, Emam Bhajanti Bhaktya, those who seek me, who praise me, who worship me with devotion, all this can be taken as the meaning of the word Bhajanti Maite Teshu Cha Api Aham. They exist in me and I exist in them. They exist in me because they seek me, then they become one with me and therefore I exist in them. What about others? They are also non-separate from me, but they do not seek me with commitment, with devotion, bhaktya. If they do, then I am in them. They are in me. Here you must note that Bhagavan is not speaking with reference to Satya and Mithya as he did earlier when he said Astani Sarvabhutani Nacha Aham Teshu Avastita. Here he is saying that the seeker's Atma is me. Therefore all the seekers exist in me and I in them, that both of us are one and the same. Pure Atma is pointed out. He is not talking about the relationship, but the identity between Jiva and Parameshwara. Therefore, I am them and they exist in me. All of them have that being in Atma. When each one says, I am so and so, and I is Parameshwara, and that I is Parameshwara. They all exist in me, one Paramatma, and I am in the form of all of them.
Why should he? So,
You just see how nicely, Bhagavan, he puts the ball in our court. If you think that I am one with you, you are one with me. If you think that you have to seek elsewhere, you keep seeking. I can't help it. I am saying that you are one with me all the time. So it's all up to us to own up and claim our reality. And for that claiming and owning up our reality, we have to understand. For that understanding, you need the infrastructure. For that infrastructure, you need Karma Yoga. For that, you have to live your life in a certain fashion. So everything finally leads to owning up the reality that you and I are one and the same. So I have already given you, I am with you, you are one with me. I understand, you have to understand. That's what he says. So there is no parapaksham as far as Ishvara is concerned.
But until you come to that
understanding,
understanding, you will only.
That is why yoga. That is why Yoga Shastra and Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya is already there. Brahma Vidya, you are already Brahman. But for owning up and claiming that to become yours totally, all the pratibandhakas have to be removed. Because you have always been looking out and you have started your life way away from him in terms of owning up, even though he is already there with you. So all those pratibandhakas you have to remove. That's all we are doing. So Yoga Shastra, that's what he is telling. Yeah.
Prashant, you read now?
Yeah, where are you? If you are able to hear clearly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we are, so your voice is very
next
clear.
Next para you finished.
Why should he say so?
Why should he say so? One may think that they exist in me like the parts exist in the whole. This is what the school of thought called Visishta Advaita says. But this cannot be. There are no fractions of Atma because Atma is always whole. It cannot be fractionated. It is not that from the same fire each one has a spark of divinity. There is no spark here. The spark is the whole. These theologies exist because we have psychological issues. Every one of us wants to belong to somebody because we feel empty inside. We want to be claimed by somebody, and therefore one person says he belongs to a big person, in this case Vishnu. It is purely psychological. There is nothing wrong with wanting to belong to somebody, but we are not talking about simple psychological issues here. It is more than that. You do not belong to Ishvara, you are Ishvara. If you think you belong to Ishvara, then you will also think Ishvara belongs to you. Like this, Ishvara will have 1 million people saying the same thing. Such people are deluded. When they discover there is another person to whom Ishvara has given the same feeling, their devotion will disappear. Ishvara becomes like the person who was searching for a greeting card and with the help of the shopkeeper finally found the one he was looking for. It said, "You are the only one I love." Then he asked the shopkeeper for a dozen of them. Similarly, Ishvara gives every devotee the feeling that he belongs to that devotee. Otherwise no one
will be a devotee.
no one will be a devotee. But among the devotees, each always has an eye upon the other devotee. Each thinks the Lord belongs to me. I am the only one dear to him. That is what he told me. When one says to the other, he told me the same thing, all the devotion falls apart. This is what happens if you think you are a fraction of the Lord. This is Visishtadvaita. If everyone belongs to Ishvara and everyone thinks that Ishvara belongs to him, definitely he will have the feeling, I am not special to Ishvara. He has general devotees, I am only one of them. Such devotion will evaporate. There is no beginning. You are Ishvara. There is no belonging. There is no belonging. You are Ishvara. There is no question of separation because Ishvara cannot be made into parts so that you have a spark of that Ishvara. Therefore, when you understand I am in all of them, they are in me, there is no separation. What is he trying to say, Swamiji?
In this particular thing, we have to be we are already in the sense that Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinnam, that I am the Vastavam, I am not a Vastu, I am not limited by time, not limited by space, I am not even an object. That is the same reality as Ishvara. If that understanding is clear, then I am in all of them, they are in me, becomes, there is no separation, there is no visishta, there are no parts, all those things become very clear. Yeah.
Bhagavan says, I have no dvesha for the people who do not care for me, nor do I have raga for the people who care for me. I am available for everyone because in all beings I am the same. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. It is a question of owning up. The Atma of everyone is Parameshwara. I am not hiding myself from anybody, nor I am choosing to reveal myself to someone. I do not extend favors to some and punishment to others. It is all one's own doing. Having said this, he continues to talk about the nature of commitment to the pursuit of Ishvara called Bhakti. Shankara introduces the next verse saying, listen to the glory of that devotion. Verse 30, even those with improper contact who seek the Lord is considered a good person. Api chet suduracharo bhajate ma nanyabhakah sadureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hisaha. Api chet, even if Sudura Chara, one of highly improper conduct, Ananya Bhak, being one without a sense of separation, Bhajate, seeks, Mam, me, Sa, Sadhu, Eva, Mantavyaha, he is to be considered a good person, he because Sa, Samyak, Vyavasitaha, he is one whose understanding is clear.
See, this particular verse is called prasamsa. Prasamsa meaning that ananyatvam is praised here. The ananyatvam is praised here in the sense, even with some improper conduct and all, once you are understanding that I am ananyaha from Bhagavan, that all those improper conduct and all will vanish from your life and you will be blessed. That's what he is trying to say. That ananyatvam is given the importance, the prasamsa. It's called prasamsa. Prasamsa meaning praise. The understanding is praised by giving that sort of an unlike example. Like how a person with bad contact and bad behavior is going to become an ananya bhakta. But still, if he becomes an ananya bhakta, all his bad contact will evaporate. That's what he is trying to say. Yeah.
Apichet sudura charaha, even if he is a person whose conduct is highly questionable. Sudura Charaha is a person whose conduct achara is highly improper. He omits the thing achara. He omits the thing that are to be done and does those things that are not to be done. Actually, we call acharam and the person romba acharam abdin very useful.
Our convenience, because Vaidika parampara acharam means only different restricted to only puja room. Outside it can be anachara. Yeah.
He is completely unmindful of others, happiness or welfare. Such a totally self-centered person is a dur achara. In that he excels everybody else. There are many criminals, but this one excels all of them. Generally, the prefix su is not put in conjunction with the prefix dur. But here Lord Krishna uses this su with durachara. Even though his conduct has been like this and continues to be like this, he is Ananya Bhak, one who does not see anything else except Ishvara. Somehow, in spite of all his durachara, because of some previous karma, he has discovered some devotion for Ishvara and is committed to the knowledge of Ishvara. Therefore, he has become Ananya Bhak, one who commits oneself to the pursuit of the knowledge of Ishvara. He seeks me, Parameshwara, even though his achara is highly questionable. Then what happens to him? Sadhuhu evasa mantavyaha. That person is to be considered a sadhu, one whose conduct is good, because his thinking or his understanding is clear. He is well established in the knowledge of Ishvara. Samyak vyavasita saha. When his understanding about Jiva and Ishvara is clear, naturally he should be looked upon as one who is committed to the pursuit of Ishvara and as one who has proper understanding. Swamiji, actually, when you consider this achara, durachara,
he is explaining now. You read the next para.
If he has such knowledge, how can his conduct be questionable? It is only an argument, which is why apichet is here. It is a supposition.
Just a hypothetical situation. Bhagavan is supposing and giving giving him a blessing. This is even if you are a durachara, if you are having that understanding that Ananya Bhakti, then you will be saved, you will be blessed. Like it is a prasamsa, as I was telling you, it is a typical Shastra way of giving emphasis to this Ananyatvam. That's all. Yeah.
Suppose there is such a person, if he is committed to the pursuit of or has understood Ishvara properly as non-separate from Atma, then who can evaluate his conduct? His ahankara ego is not there, but because of some prior habits picked up, he may continue to do things that are questionable. A story told in the Mahabharata illustrates this. One Brahmana was sitting under a tree doing his prayers, meditation and tapas, invoking the Lord. In the process, he developed some powers which he himself did not know about. One day when he was sitting under a tree, droppings of a crane from the tree top fell on him. He looked at it with angry eyes. The crane was burnt to ashes. Then he knew he had this power. He used to go for bhiksha daily to the same village. Previously, he was humble like a sadhu, but once he got the power, he became very proud. He went and asked for bhiksha, and the woman made him wait for 1 hour before serving him. He was very angry and asked her how she could make him wait like that. She said that she was doing her duties, which was more important. He said, "Do you know who you are talking to?" She said, "I know, but I am no crane."
You understand? You understand this?
Yeah.
He asked her how she knew about the crane, and she told him to go and ask a particular butcher. The butcher was busy serving his old and ailing father, so the Brahmana had to wait again. He was furious and asked the butcher why he made him wait. Then the butcher asked, "Did that lady send you here?" The lesson here is, do not judge people by what they do. One was a householder and the other a butcher, but they were both doing their jobs and were definitely better than the Brahmana with all his prayers and meditations. And he is to be considered a sadhu because when he has properly understood Samyak Vyavasita Hisaha and is pursuing knowledge, his improper conduct is not going to continue. How can it? If you analyze the durachara, it is either a habit or a real crime. Habit will naturally drop off in time. Crimes are always centered on the person who is insecure, the small I. Because he is highly insecure, his behavior becomes aggressive. If he has devotion to Ishvara and the very acceptance of Ishvara, his ego gets diluted. And in the pursuit of knowledge of Ishvara, it gets even further diluted. Thereby, the tendencies based upon fear, tendencies to cheat, to deceive, to hurt naturally drop off. To give an example, when a cotton cluster is thinned out so that it becomes fluffy, all the particles sticking to the cotton drop off. You cannot easily remove them one by one, but once the cotton fibers are separated, you find all the particles drop down because there is nothing for them to stick to. So too, the ego, once diluted, cannot hold on to these tendencies. They all drop off because fear and selfishness, which are at the center of all crimes, are due to ego. If the ego is diluted, where is the question of these things sticking here? Shankara introduced the next verse saying that having given up improper conduct, which is external, this person becomes a dharmatma because of an inner clarity and understanding of oneself and Ishvara.
Yeah, you are clear. You had some doubt? No, it's clear now.
Yeah. Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. Yeah.
Having given up improper conduct, the person gains inner clarity and peace. Shipram bhavati dharmatma Shashvachantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranashyati. Shipram, quickly, Bhavati, he becomes Dharmatma, one whose mind is in conformity with Dharma. Shashvat, Shantim, eternal peace. Sorry?
Shashwat.
Shashvat, Shashvat,
Shashwat.
Shashvat Shantim, eternal peace. Nigachati, he gains. Kaunteya, Arjuna, Pratijanihi, may you know for certain. May Bhaktaha, my devotee, na pranashyati, does not get destroyed. Quickly he becomes one whose mind is in conformity with Dharma and gains eternal peace. May you know for certain, Kaunteya Arjuna, my devotee never gets destroyed. Shipram
idea is by giving that prasamsa stories, unlike examples, extreme stories, and also previously explaining that whatever you do it, Ishwara Arpanam and all that. By that, both positively and negatively, he says, finally, Arjuna, be certain that my devotee never gets destroyed, even though he may get waylaid here and there, time and again, by doing some durachara, etc. Finally, as long as the bhakti is Ananya Bhakti and he keeps coming back to me and keep doing it, his karma will become yoga and yoga will lead to knowledge and he will become one with me eventually. That's the promise Bhagavan is giving to all the people. Yeah.
Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Dharmatma means the one whose mind is in conformity with Dharma. Swamiji, in this only one question I have. See, when we had gone to see Singeri Pariva, we had gone to see Shagadavara Pariva, all those people, there are some important people who either are very close to him or they go in front and they do all the things in front. But what Pariva, when he gives his Anugrah Bhashanam, he says, it is enough if my eyes are on you. You can see me from far away. You can do anything. All you have to do is just come and see me once and go, like how you pray to God. That's what he says. So we read this part sometime before in some other chapter, I remember. I'm not able to exactly recollect, saying that it is about either we can see him in person or we can meditate at home. We can still think about that person, and we read about all this. Now this last thing that we just read about, acharam, duracharam, this is the question that comes to my mind. Some people, they are very, acharama irken, na the kulchute, madiya potunruke, all these things they talk, right? So that acharam is completely different from this acharam that we are talking about.
Yeah, definitely. That is all typical priestcraft. We are not talking about priestcraft. We are talking about reality. It applies to all human beings. So the achara which is being talked about is nothing to do with Vaidika, Laukika, personal, professional and all that. It is a question of conduct. And anything, as I was telling you, Swakarmana tam abhyarchya. The whole life is called, it is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is there in every walk of life. Whatever you do appropriate to the given situation is achara, is arpanam, is the domain of Ishvara. That is how we holistic look at that is what is being told. That is all contextual and Vedika life, ritualistic life. All those things are there depending on the custom and society and all that. That is not being talked about. Is a very holistic approach about life. That is how it is. This achara is very different compared to the achara that is being talked about in Vaidika. Yeah.
He requires. Where was I reading? Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma.
Dharmatma. Correct. We require such an order.
Yeah.
We require such an order because we have the faculty of choice. Once we have that, we must have a set of norms for interaction with the world. Otherwise, it is a power given to us without proper controls. So we do have innate common sense knowledge of this moral order, which is why there is universal agreement about what is fundamentally right and wrong. Besides this, there is cultural right and wrong and situational right and wrong. An interpretation is possible only because there is a universal order, which is a part of the creation. And creation, or what is created by Ishvara, is non-separate from Ishvara. Therefore, Dharma is Ishvara. It is not an ordinary thing. This is something we find only in the Vaidika Shastra. Elsewhere, Dharma is purely a mandate, which if you follow, you will be rewarded, and if you do not, you will be punished. This is how all of dharma, that is values, ethics, etc. is presented. But here dharma is non-separate from Ishvara. So seeking Ishvara is not going to be away from that dharma. Because his mind is committed to dharma, he is called dharma atma. And dharma is always expressed in terms of conduct. Later we are going to see a verse which says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, completely giving up dharma, which means karmani Parityajya, completely giving up karma, because only where there is karma does dharma come into play. Karma is controlled by dharma and has to be in keeping with it. Therefore karma is dharma. Previously he was dur achara, now he is dharmatma because of his clarity of understanding. Samyak vyavastita hi saha. And because of his devotion to Ishvara, naturally this change takes place quickly. Even though he was durachara when he started all this, his knowledge and devotion are such that it consumes all his improper behavior. Such a person is free from conflict. Therefore he gains eternal peace. Shashvat, Shantim Nigachati. There are different types of Shanti. Because he does what is to be done and avoids what is not to be done, naturally he gains inner Shanti. This is relative. But then he already has clear understanding, and because of that he becomes Dharmatma. Being a Dharmatma, his understanding becomes clearer. As his conduct improves, his clarity also increases. He understands the nature of the self as not subject to modification, and therefore Nitya Shanta Atma. So this Shashvat Shanti is Shanti that is eternal, because it is a peace that is the nature of the self. In spite of thinking, Atma is Shanta, so let the thinking take place. That is clarity. Whatever the condition of the mind, it does not become a basis for self-judgment, because it does not bring about any change in one's knowledge of Atma being avikriya, not subject to change. That is Shashvat Shanti, and self-knowledge is called Shanti.
This is what I was telling earlier. You were asking a question, no? That she was asking that in the sense while we doing things also, whether okay when we are eating, before eating we do the pariseshanam and all that. But while eating we forget. That's what he says. See, once you have this, no, in spite of thinking, Atma is Shanta. So let the thinking take place. That is clarity. Whatever be the condition of the mind, it does not become a basis for self-judgment, because it does not bring about any change in one's knowledge of Atma. As long as the knowledge is there, if that is there as the background, as a Shruti, so it is, even though you may not be thinking all the time about the Ishvara and all that, that is not the thing that is being talked about. Your understanding, your clarity should be there, so that you are in the domain of Ishvara all the time. That prajna should be there. And then whatever you do, keep doing. So that brings about the change in one's knowledge of Atma being avikriya, not subject to change. That is Shashvat Shanti. And self-knowledge is called Shanti. Yeah.
This knowledge is not sullied by thinking. This is true of any knowledge. If you know what a car is, that knowledge is not in any way affected just because your mind is restless or disturbed. Even when the mind is sad, 1 plus 1 is still 2. The nature of knowledge is that it does not get disturbed just because the mind is in a certain condition or the body has become very old or weak. The clarity of knowledge is such that one knows he or she is Shanta, in spite of the mind, not because the mind is Shanta.
See, the thing is very clear, no? The two things that are talked about. One is learning, another is knowledge and information. See, this knowledge and information is generally of something cumulative and something contextual, something depending on the subject and all that. As long as you remember the knowledge and the accumulated knowledge and make use of the information, it will be useful in Vyavahara and all that. Whereas learning, which is being talked about, is that once you understand the fire is hot, you don't have to remember that fire is hot. It will be there in your psyche, it will become part of your psyche. That is how he is talking about. That Shanta, that understanding, if it becomes so deep in your psyche, that Shanta will be there irrespective of the mind, whatever it does, whatever it is occupied. That is what he is talked about. That is called learning. Learning and understanding is different from knowledge and information. Knowledge and information may be useful in Vyavahara, But learning and understanding alone will help you in terms of this understanding, especially in generally also. Learning and understanding only is much more holistic, it stays with you, you don't have to remember. Even when you, when you get up, when you suddenly you are woken up and you are asked, when you are asked 1 and 1 plus 1, anyone will say 2. In the sense, that simple it is. Learning is so thorough and you don't have to remember. It will become part of your life, part of your psyche. That is what he is talking about. And that mind will always be Shanta. That once the understanding is there, that Shanta will stay with you. Irrespective of whatever, suddenly you may be in a bit of a crisis, you may be occupied, very frantically occupied and all that. But once that phase is over, once you are done with it, mind will become Shanta. Since Shanta is not lost just because you are engaged very frantically in something or other. That's what he is trying to say. Yeah.
Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. May you know for certain, Arjuna, my devotee, does not get destroyed. This is a very famous sentence. Devotee here is the committed person and implies that he or she has recognition of Ishvara. That recognition is a great blessing. It is not at all that easy to recognize Ishvara. That there is Ishvara is a great step, and then the one who seeks to know that Ishvara is really one whom we call a Bhakta here. Such a person never comes to a bad lot, whatever his or conduct has been. Even with regard to the pursuit, he is very clear about what he is after, and if he appreciates Ishvara, naturally he gains the Shanti, which is the nature of Atma, and he does not come to destruction to a bad lot. This is true for any person.
Yeah, I think we'll stop here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to continue with it? I can continue.
We'll stop.
We
will stop.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. In the sense, see, everything, of course, no, if you look at Gita, every place is very interesting. Like, it becomes a holistic, a very positive way of explaining the whole thing. It makes it, what you call, livable. It's called livable Shastra. It is not academic or it is not holistic where you are holier than thou attitude. You don't have to have. Every one of us can make it when we understand the spirit of it. That is very important. Spirit we must imbibe in our life. And plus minus here and there, we can always bring it back. So it's in our hands finally. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
There's no, because 9th chapter, I think, here he said in the beginning, 9th chapter is the middle of the Gita and that.
Yes. The Ananyas Chinta Yantoman, which I told in the 7th chapter also. The entire theme of the 7th chapter is Mattaha, Anyaha and Na. So the Ananya Bhakti is the most important thing. Ishvara and me are not. Listen, the reality is there is no Ishvara other than me. There is no me other than Ishvara. That is the reality of our life. But the thing is that it is the niyati itself, it is kept separate so that we appreciate the vibhuti of, see, unless we are separate, we cannot talk about the glory, no? You and I cannot talk about the glory unless we are separate. Yes. That is how it is. There is no other reason. That is the vibhuti of the being, that it is so varied and so vividam, so beautiful in every aspect it is beautiful. That glory of the being is vividam. But the understanding is oneness. It will make you feel so complete, and whatever you seek in life is completeness, purnam, ananda. It's all because of your reality. Since it is your reality, if you disown it, you will not be happy about it. Irrespective of even Chandran, Indran, Sannananjari, Indran Ponananjari, Chandran Ponananjari, you will not be happy unless you understand the oneness of the reality. Because that is the reality. You are at home only with your reality. That is why it's called at homeness. But the vividam is needed for us to express the glory, and also the glory of the oneness itself is vividam only. That it can be everything. That is the glory. So both we have to understand. Yeah.
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnama